We have here with us today the phenomenal Miss Reggaelution Elaine, who's gonna give us her story on how she became one of the world's most famous musicians and what led her down that path. So Elaine, tell us, what was life like before you found your calling?
Well, life for me definitely wasn't a bed of roses. Up until age 18, I lived with my father and my brother. And my mother died when I was 6. I grew up in the parish of St. Mary. After the death of my mother, that's when things got very difficult for me.
What made it difficult?
Well, I was the only woman in the house after the death of my mother, so I basically did everything. Wash clothes, clean house, cook food, everything. Because my father worked on a farm that he owned, and he would wake up at the latest 5 a.m. and go doing farming.
So, what about your brother? Didn't he help you?
No, he was my father's favorite, and he didn't believe men should do a woman's job, such as clean the house and cook. He helped my father with his farming, and instead he was actually like a bully to me.
A bully in what way?
He would tell me stuff like how unattractive I was. No man would ever want me. And if daddy asked him to do something, he didn't feel like doing it. He'd tell me to do it, and tell me if I didn't do it, he'd make up bad stories about me and tell our father.
So wouldn't your father find out he was lying?
My father believed whatever my mother told him about me. And so if he found out I did something he was against, he would hit me and beat me.
What? So didn't you fight back?
I couldn't. I feared my father. And I remember he would tell me how worthless and useless I was. And said when my mother died, she should have taken me with her. Whenever he got really upset, for when dinner wasn't done in time or to his liking, and if breakfast wasn't done in time, he would grab me and sink his fist into my back and arms.
So what drove you to break free of that misery in your past?
My art and music teacher, who noticed my talent in high school and motivated me to reach where I am now. And they were the ones who introduced me to a scholarship program that would give me a chance to study in the US.
Which school in the US was that?
University of Florida, Performing Arts.
So how did your father react to that?
He was actually against it when I told him that I had applied for a scholarship to leave and study abroad. It ended up into a fight, not only for my freedom, but for my life.
And how old were you at that time?
18.
What happened after the fight? And where was your brother at the time?
Well, my brother had moved out of the house, and someone living in the neighborhood heard the noise coming from our house and barged in. At the time, I fell unconscious. When I woke up, I found myself in the hospital.
How long were you in the hospital for?
About 3 months. And it was after that I got through the scholarship and left to study abroad.
So what happened to your father?
He was placed in prison for 15 years.
Wow. Well, that's all the time we have. That was Elaine Roberts giving us a look into her life story before she became one of the world's most famous and loved musicians. Now, here's a peek at one of her live performances at Reggae Sumfest.
Thanks for having me on your show. It was a pleasure talking.
Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna